Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, and again we are going to take a wander round paradise. And it was at Paradise, of course, that we faced Motherwell at the weekend. We came away with a disappointing 1-1 draw. Where did it all go wrong? And how can we combat teams that come to Celtic Park and play the way that Motherwell did? Well, I think initially what you've got to look at is what went right. And in the first half, I felt that we looked energetic down the wings. Palmer and Yang, of course, were having some joy inside and outside. Yet their delivery wasn't suited to Kyogo. Kyogo was virtually anonymous in the first half, and I think that was the state of play going into the second half as well, and it became a frustration. When we finally got a penalty kick, you think to yourself, right, that's going to allow us to really open the gates here. The floodgates are going to be open, and it was Palmer that stepped up. No one was arguing when Palmer stepped up to take it. He done really well during the international break. 14 Celts on international duty. Lewis Palmer walked up, did his little shuffle, and missed. Well, it was a save, and I don't think anyone was complaining when he did that shuffle against Aberdeen and scored the goal, so I'm not going to give him a hard time. But by God, Celtic need to do something about their penalties. That's another penalty kick missed, and in games like this match against Motherwell, sometimes you need that little stroke of luck. You need that set piece so that you can open the scoring, and then Motherwell come out and Celtic can then attack. It didn't happen. We finally did get another penalty kick. David Turnbull was the man to take it. He didn't start the game, and we're ahead, and you think to yourself, well, that's us got the win. And then it's a terrible defensive display that allows Motherwell back into the side. If you take it a step further back before the corner kick, Tony Ralston has to deal with that better. He needs to deal with it better. Callum McGregor needlessly gives away the corner kick, but then we need to deal with the corner. Joe Hart has to be more commanding in his area, and Greg Taylor's out-muscled for the actual goal by Motherwell. So very, very disappointing 1-1, and we come away from that game thinking that, you know, the lead that we have could have been extended going into the fixture on Sunday. So lots of questions to be asked around our performance. The first one being the defensive quality that we have. We have been speaking about that on A Celtic State of Mind now all season. The fact that we have to strengthen in certain key areas. We've already bought 3 centre-halves to the club. One, I think, will go back in January, Nat Phillips to Liverpool. So I don't think the central defensive area is a concern. We've got 2 right-backs. Johnson was rested at the weekend, of course, after his international endeavours. And at the left-back, I just think that Greg Taylor needs someone to come in and challenge him for that spot. And there's lots and lots of Celtic fans coming through the comment section who also think that Joe Hart needs that challenge. I mean, he needs to command his area better than that. And we'll go into Tuesday night's game against Lazio, and we're hoping that we can get something from that game in Rome. So it's the 3rd time this season domestically in the league that we have dropped points, 3 draws where we've struggled to break teams down. Now Motherwell going into that game will have prepared themselves all week to be up against the Celtic side with that level of possession, that level of control, and really parked into the final third of the park. But we didn't make it difficult enough for them to defend, did we? You look at the wingers, Palmer and Yang, plenty of the ball, plenty of crosses going into the box. But Kyogo, for me, isn't suited to that style of play. He was almost anonymous, and he is our talisman. He has been one of the top players over the last 2 years. And he's shown this season that he still obviously has that. And his locker, the goal against Rangers, the 2 Champions League goals, absolutely sensational. No one else on the park arguably could score that type of goal. But we're not utilising him properly. And he was anonymous until such times that O came on the park and Kyogo dropped a wee bit deeper. He started getting involved in the game, playing more centrally, coming through, dropping deep, getting the ball. And indeed, he was involved in the move where we actually won the penalty. So I think we've got to look at a way of bringing Kyogo back into the play and getting him more involved in Celtic's attacks, because until we do that, he can become quite anonymous. And I think that when you look at the game against Lazio tomorrow night, Tuesday night, over in Rome, it's maybe an opportunity for us to change the shape of the Celtic side. The big question mark, I think, in the starting 11 was who was going to take Hatate's jersey. We're still calling it Hatate's jersey. There's been starts for Paulo Bernardo and also David Turnbull and Odin Thiago Holm. I think he was rewarded for his performance against Aberdeen by starting the game against Motherwell. But I'm going to say that, when you look at it, and this isn't with hindsight, that game against Motherwell, do we really need someone with those defensive qualities playing in the midfield? It might have been a better chance to play David Turnbull. He obviously came on and did pretty well, and I think that's going to be a question again tomorrow night. Who do we start against Lazio? Bernardo has been given the nod in the Champions League already. Odin Holm has shown a bit of inexperience and indiscipline when he played against Feyenoord, and we know what David Turnbull can do, but he doesn't really give you the defensive qualities that you might need tomorrow night in the Champions League. It's a bit of a win or bust for Celtic. Do we have what it takes? I think we do, but we're going to approach it differently, and I think the shape's going to be different. Do we play a 3-5-2, for example, where Kyogo can be utilised better up top with O maybe playing a wee bit deeper than O, and then obviously we're going to have the two inverted full-backs. Who plays in the midfield? I would probably give Bernardo the nod, because I think he's shown he's very steady at that level in this competition as well. And then you look at the back three, the central defenders. It would be Nat Phillips who comes in and plays alongside Carter Vickers and Liam Scales, because Phillips has been on the bench, he has been the backup. Do we have a chance tomorrow night? We always have a chance, don't we, in Rome? And the Celtic fans are already travelling over there, they're already in Italy, and I hope they have a great experience and Celtic can come away with something in the Champions League. We really need a result in Rome tomorrow night, and I don't think it's beyond Brendan Rodgers, but I do think we'll change the shape and play more defensively. Probably forced to a degree due to the fact that we do lack wingers now. At the beginning of the season, the early parts of the season, it was the central defensive areas that we had an issue with. Now we've got suspended and injured wingers, and I don't think I'd be confident going into that game tomorrow night with Mikey Johnson and Marco Tilio playing left and right wing. However, that's no anything against the players. They've just not had enough game time. Mikey Johnson says 2 substitute appearances and Tilio's only had the one, a brief appearance against Motherwell due to the injury of Yang. We don't know how bad that injury is going to be. So I think we'll change shape, and then on the bench, hopefully a return for the likes of James Forrest, because he's got that experience at this level as well. Now, yesterday we were drawn against Buckie Thistle in the Scottish Cup, the romance of the Cup, you might say. A 5th-tier team coming to Celtic Park, and you've seen the players of Buckie Thistle celebrating. They're going to come along. They also play in the green and white hoops, and I think it's fantastic, and hopefully we can get as many fans as possible in that stadium, and it's a really memorable day for Buckie Thistle, but not too memorable. Of course, we don't want a cup upset. The Green Brigade had a day of action on Saturday before the game. They welcomed the team at 1:15 and they made their feelings known. Hopefully the Green Brigade and the club can come with some kind of solution prior to the big games against the likes of Feyenoord and of course Rangers. Once those games come around, you want every single margin to be in Celtic's favour, so hopefully we can sort that out between the board and the Green Brigade. What else have Acsom been up to over the last week or so? Well, we've announced our charity weekender. It's going to take place on the 16th and the 17th of December. We go live for 24 hours, 2 slots of 12 hours with a break in between, and all funds raised will be going to wee Jamie Tierney for his fight against Duchenne muscular dystrophy. So keep an eye on that, 24 hours of content. That'll be the weekend of the Hearts game, and we'll cover that game as well. We'll get loads of other Celtic podcasts involved, and it's going to be 24 hours of content raising funds for a great cause as well. And next week, 3 days from today actually, we will be with Johan Mjällby. Mjällby, a great defender for Celtic, Swedish internationalist, treble winner under Martin O'Neill, of course, and in part of Neil Lennon's coaching team. He will be joining us at Gracie's on the 18th of December. That's our Christmas night out sorted, and if you want to get some tickets, there are 1 or 2 still available, and the link is underneath this video. Thanks everybody for getting involved as always, and we'll see you again tomorrow at 12:30 on A Celtic State of Mind.